So you just booked your first cruise and now you have no idea what to do.
Well, you're going to want to stick around because we're going to give you some insider secrets to help you make the most of your first cruise.
Today on This Happy Place. Hi friends, and welcome back to This Happy Place. Or actually, for a lot of you, welcome to This Happy Place. You're probably new here if you've clicked on this video. And so, I'm Taylor.
I'm Jake.
And we like to cruise.
We like to travel in general. We are not experts necessarily, but we've done it enough to have learned some lessons the hard way.
And I remember when we took our first cruise, which was back in 2017, 2018, one of those years, that we really had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah, we figured it out. We trialed and errored some things, and we're gonna bring that to you today, our experiences and our little insider tips, so you don't have to make the same mistakes.
Make sure you are subscribed because we have a few tips and tricks and cruising related videos coming out, but this fall we do have a nice long cruise vlog that will be coming your way. But I think we should just jump right in.
Okay, number one, let's talk about verbiage. Once you get onto the ship, or even before you get on the ship, if you're perusing the app and things like that, you're going to want to know how the ship is referred to in terms of directions. Sure, you could use left, right, front, and back if you want to sound like a noob, but you don't want to come off as a noob. Port is left side. You'll remember that because there are 4 letters in port and 4 letters in left. The only other side is starboard, which is the right side. And I don't know, can we say this on YouTube? Aft rhymes with so that's a good way to remember the back of the ship. And of course, the bow, the front.
And when you are on the ship, don't call it a boat. We don't care. Call us cruising fakers, I don't know.
Be better than us.
I guess so, but other people care a lot. So just call it a ship, cruise ship. It's not a cruise boat, it's a cruise ship. And number 2, there is quite a long list of things you are not going to want to bring on a ship. Do not bring these things. If you try to, you'll either get in a lot of trouble depending on what they are, or they will confiscate them out of your luggage at the beginning of the cruise and you will have to go and find them when you disembark at the end of the cruise, which is just gonna take a lot of time and be annoying. So it's gonna be best not to bring these things. Keep in mind that this list is pretty general. It might change depending on the cruise line you're going with, so make sure that you check the guidelines for the cruise line you are sailing with. But let me give you just a general idea of what you should not bring on a cruise. The obvious ones are going to be weapons. Don't bring weapons or any explosive devices. You're also not allowed to bring any drugs of any kind, and that includes medical marijuana, so sorry.
Maybe legal in the state that you come from, but Border Control and Customs is a federal agency and it's not legal there, so don't try it.
Yeah, you're not gonna wanna bring any knives or scissors or open blades. That is gonna be considered a weapon.
On a lot of cruise ships, you are permitted to bring some amount of alcohol. Check that in the guidelines and policies for the specific cruise line you're going on. Just make sure you don't surpass that, or they will confiscate anything over the amount that you're allowed to bring on per person.
You are not allowed to bring things generally with open heating elements. So that's gonna include hot plates, irons. You're not allowed to bring any clothes steamers.
Coffee makers.
Yeah. The exception to this is going to be flat irons, which some cruise lines allow you to bring while others don't. So make sure you check with your cruise line on that if you plan on bringing a hair straightener.
And another category of things that you're going to want to just leave at home are power strips, extension cords, things like that. There's one exception. I believe if you have a CPAP machine and need to span the distance to the bed so that you can use it for medical purposes, you can for that. But otherwise, no go on the extension cords.
You're not gonna wanna bring any sports equipment, so leave your hockey sticks at home. No perishable or homemade foods can be brought on. You can bring a lot of prepackaged things. That's not gonna be an issue. And no drones, so sorry. It seems to be most cruise lines, they don't want you to bring those drones. Makes sense.
Next, number 3. Helps to know what's included before you get on board so you can know what you can expect to not have to pay for versus what you can expect to have to pay for. In general, every cruise line is going to have at least one complimentary dining option, including a buffet.
You're gonna be able to get certain kind of drinks, generally water, juices, coffee. Some lines include soda, but most don't. There are a lot of onboard activities and entertainment. Your shows are going to be included, but make sure that you are booking those if necessary, because sometimes they do sell out. You can always cancel them, but it's better to have them booked if you know you might want to do them than to miss out on the opportunity.
One other nice perk of a cruise ship that is included if you're into this kind of thing is the fitness center. No charge to use that or any of the equipment inside.
You can also send your kids to the kids or teen clubs. Those are going to be included along with the pools and hot tubs on board. And if you're going to one of the cruise line's private islands, the food, some of the food will be included and you won't have to pay for it. And number 4, to go on the opposite side of that, you should know what is not included, but what you might want to either set aside some extra money for or potentially bring cash for, which generally you don't have to do, but it's not a bad idea to have. And that's gonna include things like alcohol, especially if you don't have a drink package.
Another thing you may want to set aside some additional funds for are the at-cost activities on board some ships. They have really interesting things. Norwegian Cruise Line, a lot of times will have go-karts on their ships. There's other more unique activities that...
like arcades too.
Cost a little bit of money to go and experience, but it's really interesting to do some of those things in the middle of the ocean. So you might want to set aside some funding for that. Of course, gambling, not free just because you're in the middle of the ocean.
Can you imagine?
You're gonna have to pay to gamble. Typically when you get on board, there's gonna be some very friendly people with a camera who wanna take your picture before you get on board, and then pretty much immediately, as soon as you get onto the ship, they're gonna try to sell you that picture. If you want a photo package for you and your family, a lot of times you can purchase that. You can purchase whole photo shoots if you want, or you can bring a camera. It's pretty much the same quality. And shore excursions. Occasionally, cruise lines will give you stateroom credit or a free shore excursion of some kind, but for the most part, you're going to end up paying something for your shore excursions, especially if you book them outside of the cruise line.
Spa treatments, internet packages, none of that is going to be included. A lot of them you can book ahead of time, so that money is kind of out of your mind, but if you decide to book it once you're on the ship, it does cost money. And know that there are a few other things that may cost money. Do not be surprised if you get on the ship and you see a lot of upcharges. That is kind of how they make their money. But we want you to be aware since you've never been on a cruise before. And number 5, as with any type of vacation, know that plans can change. Things can be canceled even.
Whole trips can be canceled.
Ask us how we know. Cruising depends a lot on the weather. If you're cruising in the Caribbean, June through November is hurricane season and your cruise may be diverted. You may have stops completely changed or canceled, or you may have full cruises canceled. We have had on 3 of our 4 cruises major changes. One being completely canceled about 3 days before we were set sail. One where a 2-day long stop on Bermuda turned into 8 hours. We missed a full day. And our Royal Caribbean cruise last year, we didn't get to go to Perfect Day at all because of the weather. So just know that this might happen. Just mentally prepare yourself for that because it is a bummer, but if you know going in that it could happen, it makes it a little easier.
Those decisions are not made lightly. Don't get us wrong. They're always made in the best interest of the crew and the guests on board the ship. Safety is obviously the most important thing to the people who are operating the ship and the companies themselves. So prepare yourselves, take the safe approach, and consider getting some kind of travel insurance. A lot of times it can be offered through the cruise line itself when you book your room, or if you're using a credit card, especially a travel credit card to book your trip, a lot of times travel insurance is included with that card. We love the Chase credit cards. We use them to book all of our trips, one, because of the points that come along with that and allow us to get a lot of travel for free, but also because of the travel insurance. If you're interested in exploring any of those credit card options for the points or the insurance options, we do have referral links in the description below. Know that if you decide to pursue that and click on those links and get yourself a card, we will get some bonus points that help us travel more and bring you more of the content you love to see.
Number 6, make sure that before you get on the ship, you have the app for the cruise line you are sailing with downloaded and ready to go on your phone, including having an account and being signed into that account. It's kind of essential.
Definitely. Especially because if you wait until you're at sea and you haven't purchased an internet package, you won't be able to download the app unless you purchase an internet package or you incur some pretty serious roaming charges if you're close enough to shore. Don't be that person. Download it ahead of time and learn how to use it so that you can not waste any time once you get on board.
All the major cruise lines have an app. You're gonna find your daily schedule on there. You can find your room charges on there. You can a lot of times sign up for activities right through the app. So it's just really important that you have it. We're actually sailing on a cruise later this year, hint, hint, that doesn't have an app, and I don't know what we're gonna do.
I don't know how to feel about it.
Before we move on to the next one, put in the comments below, what cruise are you going on? Where are you going? How long are you sailing for? And what ship are you gonna be on? We wanna know, because we're excited for you.
Number 7, when you're off the ship at those shore excursions that you've booked, one of those port days, don't let time slip away from you, or the ship will. They won't wait for you if you're late. There is a time that you are supposed to be back on the ship. They will make sure that you know it. Be on the ship at least 30 minutes before that time, because they incur some very serious fees to sit there and wait for guests who are running late, so they just don't. They will leave you behind on the island.
Know that if you are on a shore excursion that you booked through the cruise line, they will wait for you. That is one of the perks of booking those excursions through the cruise line. But if you're just out on your own and enjoying Senior Frogs and you look down and oh my gosh, you will become a dock runner. And if you don't know what that is, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's someone that is sprinting towards their ship that is wanting to leave. And if you are not one of those people, make sure at least once on your cruise, you either go on your balcony or go up to look over onto the dock and watch the dock runners, because it is just this camaraderie filled fun activity that so many people on the cruise ships do. And it's one of our favorite activities.
Look it up on YouTube. There are some good ones.
It's really good. Number 8. When you get on the ship, depending on what time it is, your room may not be ready yet. Remember, the previous cruise, all of those guests just got off, so the rooms need to be cleaned. So what we recommend is leave your big luggage with the porter before you check in and take a small bag with you. But make sure in that bag you have an extra pair of clothes, your swimsuit if you know you're gonna wanna be swimming, your medicines, your jewelry, all of those important things that of course you're not gonna wanna lose, including any documents that you have. And that way you can get on the ship and just start having fun. You don't have to lug your luggage around, and you have the stuff that you need, including a swimsuit, because you're on vacation immediately. And number 9, you can actually find Facebook groups for your specific sailing with a lot of different cruise lines. I know that Disney's Facebook community is huge, and I think Royal Caribbean actually has a nice one too, which I'm gonna have to look into for our next cruise. I haven't done that yet. And this is a really cool way to ask questions with seasoned cruisers about the ship specifically, about cruising in general. You can even plan activities with groups of other people that are gonna be on your cruise and just get to know some people. So once you're on the cruise, you might recognize some of the faces. We did it for our Disney cruise, our very first one we took, and it was really, really cool. And we got to talk even after the cruise, and that was nice too.
Yeah. Number 10, you have some options when booking your cruise stateroom. You can elect to allow the cruise line to choose your room for you, or you can often pay a little bit extra and choose specifically where you want your stateroom to be. If you know that you're somebody who is subject to motion sickness, that might be the route you want to go. Generally, low and mid on a ship are going to have less movement and be better for you to sleep if you think you are going to be subjected to some rough seas and get a case of the sickness. Likewise, if you know that you're a light sleeper, make sure that you look at the deck plans above you, below you, and side to side of you. Know where the elevators are, know where the dance floors are, know where the nightclubs are. Don't book a room right under a nightclub or right next to an elevator.
Do know if you're low and towards the aft of the ship, you also might feel a lot more of the engine vibration and noise. We had that on our first cruise, and we didn't have a ton of motion sickness from the moving, but every night, everything in our room shook. So just do a little bit of research. You can also Google specific rooms on cruise ships, and you can find pictures and reviews of those rooms. It sounds crazy, but it's true. And if you're specific about where you stay and where you sleep, it might be the way to go. Number 11. Jake mentioned this earlier when we were talking about apps, but once you get on that ship, put your phone in airplane mode and keep it there. Do not accidentally take it off. Do not forget to put it on, because you are going to accrue some really nasty roaming fees. And you don't want that after a really great vacation.
Even if you've purchased the internet package, sometimes it is data-based, and if you are hooked up to the Wi-Fi when you don't really need to be using it, it will slowly trickle that data away. So just keep that in mind, regardless of whether or not you've purchased an internet package, to hopefully save yourself a little change at the end. Last but not least, number 12. Thanks, Tay.
Anytime.
Have some idea of what you want to do before you get on the ship. Don't waste time going to guest services to get the planners to look at it the first time, like on the first day. That's not what you're there for. Take a little bit of time beforehand, look at the app, look at the daily activities that typically get posted at least within 30 days out of the cruise, and start planning what you want your days to look like. It's your vacation, and there are so many options, so many different ways to have fun. Just know that you can't do it all.
Absolutely. They offer so much to do on these cruise ships, and you can spend all day, every day, hopping from location to location, going to trivia, going to karaoke, going to see different entertainment, or you can sit by the pool all day if you want to. It is completely up to you, but it's gonna make it so much better if you know what you want going in and aren't spending time trying to figure that out.
For sure.
Bonus. A drum roll. I don't know
Was
if
it?
you knew that. Yeah, it was a really bad one.
It's hard to tell.
The doors and the walls of your stateroom are magnetic. It's a ship. It's made of metal. But one really cool thing you can do is take magnets with you, and this can be decorative magnets that you get on Etsy or that you design yourself, and you can stick them to your room door, and that way it's easier to find and really fun for everyone else to look at.
They can also be functional magnets. Little magnets with hooks on them so you can hang an extra towel, hang an extra dress, whatever. It's a really convenient way to make the most out of your stateroom.
Let us know. We actually are thinking about creating maybe some This Happy Place magnets and stickers, which don't stick those on your cruise ship walls, but
they'll get mad at you.
You can put them on your water bottle and stuff. But if you're interested in that, let us know. We're trying to gauge some interest and see what you might want, because we love having you here, and we're just happy you want to watch us. But there you have it. Those are some of the things that we have really relied on moving forward on all of their cruises after the first one.
Compiled together, all of these things have taken us from being what I would consider novice cruisers to being
slightly less novice cruisers.
Not so unknowledgeable about how to cruise. But all of these things together they do a couple things. They help us start having fun faster when you get onto the cruise. You're paying for every second you're there, so make the most of it. They help us avoid costly mistakes at the end of the cruise when you get that bill. Avoid that sticker shock, because nothing ruins the fun time you just had than a sense of regret.
Yeah.
And they help us preserve our memories a little bit better. All these things just allow us to focus more on the things that matter when we're on board.
So we hope that you have a really, really fantastic cruise, no matter who you're sailing with and where you're going. We know that you're gonna have a really good time, and we hope that these tips and tricks have helped you. So if they have, make sure you are subscribed We have more cruising tips and tricks, plus our vlogs coming out later this year. And give the video a thumbs up. It helps us know that you like this type of content and we will keep providing it for you.
So, until next time,
stay magical. Bye.
You didn't want the cushion that I brought for you?
I don't usually do it.
Yeah, I think you're gonna need the cushion.
Or do I just slouch with the...
I think
that feels really low.
I
think I usually just slouch with no cushion.
Okay, slouch, no cushion.
You sit normally, I slouch, I think.
Do you want something else?
No.
What do you want?
No, I don't want anything.
Oh, you just look like you were uncertain about all of what I just did.
This is my face. This is my face.
You look scared. Are you scared?
I'm always scared.
You scared, bro? Okay.
All right, we're gonna start with this one. So you just booked your first cruise, or you're considering booking your first cruise, but
you don't know how we're gonna start this one. You just sat down and were like, all right, how do you want to start this one?
Also, when you are on the ship,
you threw such a, like, you...
Is your brain broken
now?
What
is stern? Stern's the back button.
Right? Number 8. When you get... What?
Make everything sound so weird.
Okay, whatever. We got there.
Yeah.
We got there. Ooh.
Ooh.
I got a very numb butt.
Yeah, my butt's also numb.
Ooh.
And my arm, for some reason. I might be having a heart attack.
Oh boy.